7.2 distributive property. I can simplify a linear, what's linear mean? Straight line. By using the distributive property and or combining like terms. And we'll be getting into the like terms more so tomorrow. One vocab, and it's more of an example than a definition in a way. The distributive property says that if A, B, and C are real numbers, then A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. But underneath it, I want you to write this example because in my mind it's easier to understand. Because instead of the time sign, it's not always going to have the time sign there. You're going to see it written like this, A times B plus C, without anything between the number or the variable and the parentheses. Sometimes you'll see it written like this, B plus C, and the A will be back here. Doesn't matter, you're still going to get the same answer. All right, and what this is telling me is that we need to distribute it. I need to distribute this A, and I need to multiply it by each term inside the parentheses. So if I do this one first, I'm going to take A times B and get what? I'm going to move this one to the side. What is A times B? AB, right?
Yeah.
A times B is AB. What is A times C?
AC.
And this is a positive. A positive, is it a plus AC or a minus AC?
Plus.
Plus AC. All right, and so that's basically the same thing here. This is AB, A times B. That's the same as AB and AC. So that's doing the distributive property, just multiplying this outside number or variable times both terms on the inside. All right, let's practice a couple together. 6 times the parenthesis x plus 5. So to distribute, I take positive or negative 6 and get a positive 6x. So 6 times x is 6x. A positive 6 times a positive 5 is a plus or a minus 30? A plus 30. Now, I could switch that around because, like I said, this could be written as x plus 5, and sometimes you'll see it where the number's behind it. It's the same thing. You can still distribute. Doesn't matter which order as long as you multiply them times both. Well, what's 6 times 5? 30. 6 times x plus 6x. See how these are equal to each other? I've got a positive 30 here. I have a positive 30 here. I have a plus 6x, a plus 6x. They're exactly the same. They're just flipped around. Same answer. All right, how about B? What do I need to do first?
4 times x.
What do I want to do?
4 times x.
Yep.
Positive 4x.
Exactly. Positive 4x. Then what?
4 times negative 9.
4 times a negative 9 is?
Negative 36.
Exactly. A positive times a negative. So some people want to go plus a negative 36. No, you got to pick. Which one is it?
Negative.
Right. We don't put a plus a minus 6. Minus 36. We just tell right off the bat, what is it? Positive times a negative is a negative 36. So 4x minus 36. How could I switch that around?
Negative 36 times
Negative 36, and then put the plus 4x right there. You can just flip them around. Same answer, just different order. That's the same expression. Why do I call this an expression and not an equation?
Because it can't be solved.
No? What is this missing? Why do I call it an expression?
Equal sign.
Right, it doesn't have an equal sign. If it had an equals 10, Then we could find an answer, right? We could tell what x was, but can I solve this like we did yesterday and say x equals 2 or x equals f? No, because it's not an equation and I don't know what x is yet. We're just simplifying this expression right now. All right, C. What's 1/2 of 4x? 2x. What's 1/2 of a positive 8? Done? Right, you have to have your sign in there. I can't just go 2x4. It's 2x, and a positive times a positive is a positive plus 4. So 2x plus 4. Hold up your answer for D. We've got a negative 10 times x minus 3. You guys pretty much rocked that one. Negative 10 times a positive, what's assumed here with this x?
1.
Right, there's an assumed 1 here. Negative 10 times a positive 1x is a, excellent, a negative 10x. And almost everybody got this correct, which was awesome. What's a negative 10 times a negative 3? A plus, a positive 30, not minus 30. That one turns into a plus because a negative times a negative. So negative 10x plus 30, or 30 minus 10x. All right, how about E? Hold up your answer there. So negative 8 times x is a negative 8x. And negative 8 times a positive 3 is negative 24. We don't go plus a negative, we just go minus 24. All right, let's see what you get for F. Good. Seeing some switched around even, and those are right? Good. 7 times 4 is what? What's 7 times 4? 28. And 7 times, what do we get here? What's 7 times a negative x or a negative 1x? What do we get? A negative 7x. I even saw someone had it written a negative 7x plus 28. Is that correct? Yes, it's the same thing. They just distributed this one first and then did this one. Still the same answer as long as the signs are the same. We match. Like here, negative 7x, negative 7x. Positive 28, positive 28. G. What do you get for G? All right, now this is the one I was talking about earlier. They put the negative 3 behind it. Doesn't matter. You can take a negative 3 times the negative 6 first, or you can take it times that 1x first. It doesn't matter. All right, so negative 3 times a negative 6 is a positive 18. And negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. If you did it the other way, how would you rewrite that the other way and it's still correct?
Negative 3x plus 18. You
nailed it right. Negative 3x plus 18. Well done. Either one of those was correct. H.
So is right? Or was I wrong?
Either one of these was correct. As long as the 18 was positive on both of them. And the 3x had the negative sign in front of it. All right, H. Remember what I'm wearing today? All right, 1/3 times x. Everybody pretty much got that right. What's 1/3 times x? Yep, 1/3 x. What's 1/3 times a negative 12? We're going to multiply that across. I get a negative 12 over 3. What is that simplified? What's negative 12 over 3 simplified? A negative 4. So this turns into a negative 4. 1/3 x minus 4. All right, let's see what you get for J. I meant I. What is 3 times 2x? 6x. 3 times an 8 is a positive 24. Now the J. What do you get for J? Good, I'm seeing all correct answers. Negative 6 times 4x is a negative 24x. Negative 6 times a negative 3 is what? What's negative 6 times negative 3? Positive. Yes, positive 18. All right, now we're going to apply what we just learned to area. How do you find the area of a rectangle or a square or whatever it might be? Area of a rectangle. Area equals length times width. Now it doesn't matter, one of these is the length, one of these is the width.
Isn't it
Length times width. But the big thing that I need to point out here is anytime we have an expression for a side, you have to put parentheses around that because that has to stay together. Otherwise, if you write, say this is my length and this is my width, I would go 5 times 2x plus 1. What would happen if I wrote it that way without parentheses?
You do 5 times 2x.
Yeah, you would only do 5 times the 2x. You wouldn't do 5 times the 2x and then times the 1. All right, so that's why it's so important that you have the parentheses. So if I were you, I'd go right down to B and put the parentheses around that as well. So you know that that stays as a group together. All right, let's finish letter A then. So the length 5 times the width. We're not going to get an answer, but we're going to get an expression for it. What is 5 times 2x?
10x.
Good. 10x. What is 5 times a positive 1? What is it? A plus 5. So that is all I can do. That is the expression that represents the area of that rectangle. But if I said x equals 5, if I said x equals 5, what would the area be then of that rectangle? Blurt it if you know it. If x equals 5, what would the area of this rectangle be? If my x is 5. Yes, because that would be 10 times 5, which is 50 plus the 5, then it would be 55 units squared. All right? Try B. Now we know that we're going to take 14 times the parenthesis 5x minus 3. 14 times 5x is 70x. 14 times a negative 3 is a negative 42. All right, next page. Now we're going to go to a triangle. What's the area, the formula for finding the area of a triangle? Area equals 1/2 times what? Times base times the height. Well, they're giving us two things here. They're giving us the base and they're giving us the height. But look at that. Put that in parentheses again because it goes all or none. Down here, make sure that gets to be in parentheses. So area equals 1/2 the base times the height. Well, I have to take half of one of those. That doesn't mean just because they're in this order that I have to take half of the base. I could take half the base or I could take half of the height. What would you rather do? Would you rather take half of the base or half of the height? I would too. So what is 1/2 of the base? 5. So 1/2 of the base is 5 times the height now. That's where we're going to have to distribute 3y plus 4. And my final answer would be what? Yep. Excellent. My final answer, you end up getting 15y plus 20. Now Austin was saying that he just got the answer. He took 10 times 3y plus 4, and then he took 1/2 times that answer. So 1/2 times, this would be what? What's 10 times 3? 30y. And what is this?
40.
Plus 40. But what happens there then? If people do that sometimes, you have to be careful because you can't just take 1/2 of 30y. You have to take 1/2 of that whole expression right there. So that would equal 15y plus 20. So sometimes that gets a little confusing. So my philosophy is if I can cut one of these in half right away, that's what I do to save myself. All right, last one on your page, and then I have a couple extra, but what do you get for D? What would you rather cut in half? The 12 or the 15Z? Ooh, nice. I see all the correct answers up. I do believe. So we cut the 12 in half and get 6. 6 times 15Z minus 7. What do I get here? That's 6 times 15. What do you get? 90Z. And positive times a negative is a negative 42. 2 little extra problems so you know how to do this one when you get on your worksheets today. Let's do this one first. What does that mean? A negative times x plus 7. Right. You have your assumed negative 1. And then you just do your distributive property. So a negative 1 times 1x is what? Right. It's a negative 1x or negative x, same thing. And then what's a negative 1 times a positive 7? A negative 7. All right. Show me what you get here. So I have a negative 1 times 5 is? Yep, a negative 5. What's a negative 1 times a negative x? What kind?
Positive x.
A positive x. What if I wrote it like this, a positive 1x? Would I count it wrong?
No.
No. All right, you can start your homework pages 3 and 4 in the packet.